Well, shalom everybody and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. We have some very interesting subjects to look at in this episode. We are continuing to look at the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, which is of course the abridged code of Jewish law, and we are up to Siman 6, which is entitled Some General Laws Regarding Blessings and Laws of the Recitation of the Baruch Hu Uvarach Shemo, which means blessed be he and blessed be his name, and Amen. Many of you are probably more familiar with that phrase that we say, that concluding phrase that we say at the end of the brachot that we say. Now, this Siman is comprised of a total of 11 seifim, which make up 1 through 2 proper reverence for the blessings that we should have, 3 through 6 reciting a blessing or reciting or writing the name of Hashem in vain, which will be interesting. And number 7, 100 blessings daily, which was a practice instituted by David HaMelech. And of course, the responses to the blessing, which is looking at the Amen. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. Number 1, before one recites any blessing, he must know which blessing he is required to say at that time. So it's important for us to be across all the blessings that we are expected to do on a daily basis. And what are those blessings? Well, the blessing that we say when we get up in the morning, the blessing we say after we relieve ourselves, we go to the bathroom, and the blessings over various foods that we partake of daily. And of course, the brachot hamazon, that is the blessing after meals. And there's many, many more blessings that we need to begin to learn and to be across, that are blessings that are required for us to do on a daily basis. So these are some of the early things that somebody would begin to look at in their walk. So if anybody is beginning to wanting to bring Hashem more front and center in their lives, whether they want to become a righteous person, that is a Noahide, and they are a ger teshav, that is a returning Gentile, or they're somebody who's biologically Jewish, who isn't observant, and they want to become more observant, and they get in contact with those people they're meant to get in contact with, some sort of Orthodox Jewish community. These are some of the things that are going to be addressed very early on in their in your transition. So it's very important, because we don't want to give birth to a brachot in vain. So we don't want to say a brachot in vain. It's very important. Brachos are very powerful things, and we shouldn't take them lightly. So we need to kind of move away from any type of casual approach to actually reciting a bracha. We are to have in our minds a sense of gratitude to Hashem when we say a bracha, and we are also to have in our minds that we are releasing a divine spark that is concealed within whatever that performance is about to be by saying that bracha. And we don't just sort of do it by rote. We don't just sort of do it by habit. Even though it's something that we are going to be doing on a daily basis, and it can be very easy for that to become habitual, we'd approach it every time with a freshness of mind. The footnote says here, for example, before reciting a blessing on a food, we should take note of which food he should take note of which food he is about to eat and which blessing it requires. So let's say we were going to eat, let's say a banana, which is a fruit of the tree. It causes us to pause and to think about what we're about to do. And this is fantastic. This is something that I really love about Judaism, and I really love about the Torah in general, is that it causes you to pause, and it causes you to be sensitized, become sensitive to whatever it is you're about to partake in. In this case, to ingest a fruit of the tree. And so we're moving away from kind of grazing mindlessly or eating mindlessly like animals do. It can be quite a common practice for people to come home from work and just go into the kitchen and to just graze, go through the pantry and to just mindlessly pull out things and put them into our mouths and just eat our our sorrows away, sort of thing, and plonk ourselves on the couch and just begin to eat from a bag of crisps or chips or something like that. So it really causes us to really think about the act of eating and what it is we're putting in our mouths, and to be prepared. There's nothing wrong with that. So that at the time he utters the name of Hashem, he may be blessed, which is the main part of the blessing. He already knows how he will conclude the blessing. It is forbidden for a person to do anything else during the time that he is reciting the blessing, and he should not recite a blessing hurriedly. Rather, he should concentrate upon the meaning of the words. The following are the words of the Sefer Hasudim. And before we read that, I just want to reiterate there that it's sometimes you might find that you'll be taking something, a snack, and you'll be going to put it to your mouth, and you'll say the blessing, but you'll perhaps be walking. You'll have to be doing something with the other hand, closing the cupboard or something like that. So it's important that it can be very tempting. One of the challenges that I've had is that I'll be walking and I'll say the brachot and I'll think, hang on, I've got to stop and I've got to. And we'll tend to do that maybe we're in a public place, or if we're in the workplace or in the lunchroom at our workplace or something like that. So we have to be very conscious of how we're going to do this. And certainly if we're in a public environment, we're at work, people are going to kind of look at us oddly if we start to sort of make these brachot before we eat. Now it's important that we work out how we're going to do that, whether we inform our colleagues beforehand, listen, I just like to say a little blessing before I eat. And you can kind of get people to understand from maybe a Christian mindset that, it's like saying grace, before partaking of the meal. It's something similar to that. Okay, so Sefer Hasudim writes, when one washes his hands and recites the blessing of Natalat Yadayim, or recites a blessing upon eating fruits or upon the performance of one of the mitzvot, blessings in which everyone is fluent, he should direct the thoughts of his heart to recite the blessing for the sake of his Creator, who has been wondrously kind to him and has given him the fruits or the bread to benefit from, and who commanded him regarding the mitzvah upon which he is reciting the blessing. So it's important for us to realize that we're actually performing a mitzvah in doing that. Hashem has commanded us to do that, and to give thanks to him. And in doing that, we're fulfilling one of our goals in our service in our avodat Hashem, service of Hashem. And he should not perform the recitation of this blessing in the manner of one who does something out of habit, and utters words from his mouth without thinking. So it's important to not be thinking of something else. And this can be a challenge if somebody's just been yelled at by a family member or a boss or something, or they've had some bad news that day. So it's something that it can be quite a challenging thing to do, but it's something that we should work on. It was about this matter that the wrath of Hashem flared, and he sent to us the following prophecy from Yeshayahu. And Hashem said, according to Yeshayahu 29:13, insomuch as this nation has drawn close with its mouth and with its lips, it has honored me, yet it has distanced its heart from me. Their fear of me is like rote learning of human commands. And the footnote reads, fear which should be instilled as a feeling of the heart is instead being practiced as a rote action. They go through the motions of serving Hashem without thinking about or actually fearing him. So what we're being made acutely aware of here is that this is one of the major downfalls of the nation of Israel as in general, as a whole, was the fact that the nation drew accustomed to trying to placate Hashem by saying all the right things and maybe ritually doing all the right things, but then when they went about their lives, they were not really doing what he was expecting of them. And so this bled across into their ritual service and the things that came out of their mouths during ritual service, and even in mundane service with saying various brachot that one says at home. And by the way, in just saying them and not actually contemplating the gravity of what they were saying and the enormity of the words that they were saying. They just became complacent, and this is one of the things that instigated Hashem's anger to be roused against his people, and subsequently led to great catastrophes happening to people. Okay. With these words, the Holy One, blessed is He, was telling Yeshua that although the Jewish people still followed his laws, they did so mechanically without feeling. Look at the actions of my children, the Jewish people, for they were performing only outwardly, and they continued to uphold the mitzvot, as one who holds onto the practices, onto and practices the customs of his ancestors, i.e., perfunctorily. They came to my house, the synagogue, and they prayed before me set prayers, as one continuing the customs of his ancestors, simply because it is what he has always done, not wholeheartedly. They clean their hands before eating bread and recite the blessing of Al Natalat Yadayim, and they break bread and recite the blessing of Hamotzei. When they drink, they recite the appropriate blessing, as the words of the blessing are fluent in their mouths. But when they recite the blessings, they do not have in mind to actually bless me. So we're essentially looking at a concept called kavanah, which is something that's could be described as spiritual concentration. And so it's very important that we bring our minds along for the journey wherever our words take us. We really shouldn't be saying anything from our mouths that our thoughts and our heart aren't sincerely behind. And if one is in a place of sin and their thoughts and their heart are behind things of sin, then it's up to them to ask Hashem and to work toward or work with Him to get a person out of that state gradually and slowly but surely. Therefore, due to this sin, the anger of Hashem flared, and he swore by his great name to cause the wise men to lose their wisdom. These wise men are those who know him and are learned in his ways, but recite the blessings to him by rote without concentration. In some Jewish synagogues, you will have people saying blessings extremely fast. This isn't always the case. That recitations of blessings done extremely quickly are a sign that a person is not having inward kavana, but it's more so than not, that is a pretty good sign to show that it's just a rote practice, because they're just doing it so quickly. There are some people that they do it that quickly and they're in tune with what they're saying, but it is quite rare. Normally, people who are quite a lot more sincere, they're saying the blessings a lot slower, and it's giving them time to really sit and meditate on everything that they say and enjoy each word that they say, and not just simply trying to get through it as quickly as they can. They're fulfilling their obligation, but they're just trying to just mow through it as quickly as they can to get to the other side. So it can be really insulting to the Creator in doing that. This punishment is written in the prophecy immediately after the above pasuk of rebuke, Yeshaya in 29:14. Therefore, behold, I will continually, etc., to perform more wonders against this people, wonder upon wonder, and the wisdom of its wise men will be lost, etc., and the understanding of its sages will become concealed. So when somebody is just doing something out of rote learning and through habitual means, their fear of Hashem also severely becomes hampered and suffers. And so they just tend to sort of... And then when somebody's fear of Hashem begins to not grow and to not be nourished, then once their fear of Hashem dissipates from them, then their knowledge will then accordingly leave them as well. Their knowledge of the Torah and even their ability to say the appropriate brachot potentially will leave them. Therefore, to protect us from this punishment, the sages admonished regarding this matter and said, according to Tractate Nedarim 62a, fulfill the Torah's words for the sake of their maker, etc., i.e. for the sake of the one who instituted them and commanded us to be observant to them. Tractate Nedarim 62a, and that is a commentary there by Ran. Therefore, hang on a second, I've gone back a bit. No, here we are. It is proper for a person to accustom himself to recite the blessings loudly, because reciting them out loud helps one to concentrate on their meanings. Some of you might sort of say the blessings in a whisper, maybe because you're at work. Go someplace that no one will hear you. And if that's not possible, just let everybody know, listen, I'm just going to say something in Hebrew, it's a blessing. Just giving you a warning, guys. And people are generally pretty good about that. And a lot of people will find it interesting. And they'll go, wow, that's really interesting. And they're not going to look at you stupid. They're going to probably have a little bit more respect for you and go, wow, okay, this person's more than just the average sort of person. There's something more to this person that runs deeper if they're doing that. Even a wicked person, 9 times out of 10 will even confess and acknowledge that. Safe 2. When a person recites a blessing, his mouth should be free of saliva, and he should not have anything else in his mouth. As the verse states in Tehillim 71:8, my mouth should be filled with your praise. So if we've got a habit of chewing gum, or chewing Tic Tacs, or whatever it is, eating Tic Tacs, make sure the gum is out of the mouth, Tic Tacs are completely consumed, and your mouth is clear of any other objects. The only thing that you want to have in your mouth is the brachot that you're saying. Save 3, it is forbidden to utter the name of Hashem in vain. Moreover, whoever utters the name of Hashem in vain violates a positive commandment. As is written in Devarim 6:13, Hashem your Elohim you shall fear. And another source regarding the prohibition is written in Devarim 28:58 through 59. If you will not be careful, etc., to perform the words of this Torah that are written in the book, to fear his honor and also his honored and awesome name, Hashem your Elohim, when Hashem will make extraordinary your blows. That doesn't just say that he's going to cause blows to come upon you. He says, I'll make those blows extraordinary. And indeed, in the fear which these verses command one to have, for the name of Hashem is the commandment not to utter. For the name of Hashem is the commandment not to utter His great name, except in the context of praise, or while reciting a blessing that he is obligated to recite. However, one may mention the name of Hashem even when reciting praises that one is not obligated to recite, according to Bior Halakha 188.7, says the footnote. I'll just read that again. Is the commandment not to utter his great name except in the context of praise, or while reciting the blessing that he is obligated to recite, or in the course of the study, or in the course of studying Torah? One should feel fear, and his limbs should tremble. When he utters the name of Hashem, may his name be blessed, but still should never utter it in vain, Elohim forbid. So, I mean, the reason why I kind of gave a little bit of a chuckle is because we're so far away from that. And it's not something to be amused by. I apologize, but it's, when was the last time we trembled when we said the name of Hashem? And one of the reasons I stopped saying the sacred name, Yad Hey Vav Hey, I stopped trying to pronounce the name and actually say it, apart from other huge reasons. One of the reasons that caused me to stop me in my tracks in actually saying the name was I noticed that I was saying it without thinking about it. I'd use it in conversation and I'd throw it out there, and I was not fully behind the name when I said it. I was thinking about something else, and I could feel that I was using the name flippantly. So if you're in a place where you're still using the sacred name, Apart from all the other arguments that have quite a lot of weight not to use it currently in this world, think about when you use it, are you trembling when you use it? Because I certainly wasn't. And it's almost impossible to say the name in conversation and tremble if you're using the name in general conversation. Because we're looking at different generations of people when we're reading the biblical text that were just on a different levels that are so far removed from the lowly level that this generation's on now. So when we see the name being used in conversation, on rare occasions, I think there's an example in the book of Ruth, we should be very aware that those that are using the name in general conversation are still trembling when it's used in that context. And I would go so far as to say there's not many people that actually say the name even during prayer that actually tremble either. And so that's something we need to look at. Because it's one thing to just have an intellectual belief and believe in all these things, but it's another thing to have belief and tremble. Yaakov HaZedek, James the Just, one of the members of the Sanhedrin in the time of Yeshua, who was related to Yeshua. He was an older brother of Yeshua. And those of you that think, how can he be an older brother of Yeshua? Well, that's another can of worms that we can look at in another video. He said, so you believe in that Hashem is Echad, good for you. Even the Shadim believe that and they tremble. Meaning that even the demons believe that Hashem is one. So how are you any better than them? They tremble. You're not trembling. The first people in the synagogue in Capernaum to acknowledge Yeshua's true identity as a shade, is a demon. We know who you are. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting? When you start to look at it from a different perspective, you go, oh, okay. Okay, so we have to learn to be very aware of what we're doing, and especially when we say a brachot, which is going to invoke the name of Hashem, we need to learn, oh, wow. I'm about to say the name, what a privilege, what an honor, what's something to be in awe of. Okay, let's continue. One should feel fear and his limbs should tremble. When he utters the name of Hashem, may his name be blessed. But still should never utter it in vain, Elohim forbid. It is not only prohibited to say the singular name of Hashem, but also all names that are designated as names of Hashem, may he be blessed. And it's not only forbidden to say them in Hebrew, but it is even forbidden to say them in any language. Remember, we're going back to one of the commandments here, that we shall not take Hashem's name in vain. We should not call his name to come to naught, which is one of the 10 commandments. One who curses his fellow or himself and uses the name of Hashem may be blessed, or with kinui. The word kinui refers to any word used in the praise of the Holy One, blessed be he, such as the great, the mighty, the awesome, the faithful, the powerful, the strong, the vigorous, the steadfast, the compassionate, the merciful, the avenging, the slow in anger, and the abundantly kind. Whether the curse is in Hebrew or in any language, the person has violated a prohibition of the Torah and is thus liable to the punishment of lashes. However, due to our many sins, most of the masses are not careful, and they want to say in German, Gott soll ihm strafen. Gott soll ihm strafen, which means God should punish him, and the like. And with this remark, they violate the prohibition of the Torah. One who curses without using either the name of Hashem or without using a kinui, that is a title, we just went through some of the titles, or if the curse is only inferred from the connotation of his words. For example, if one says, let so-and-so not be blessed by Hashem, and the like, although he is not liable to the punishment of lashes, this is nevertheless a violation of prohibition, according to Cheshen Mishpat, Siman 27. Likewise, because of the reverence due to the name of Hashem, it is forbidden to write the name of Hashem, may be blessed on any letter, whether in Hebrew or in any language. Many err in this matter, and they write the name of Hashem, may be blessed, in German, or write when signing off a letter with the word adjure, which is a French word meaning with Elohim. To do this is absolutely forbidden. After a time, the letter will end up in the garbage. This act causes poverty among the Jewish people, and the name of Hashem is found lying around, and certainly when it is in a state of degradation, Elohim forbid, it requires sagacity of effort on the part of the leaders of the generation to stop this practice of the masses. According to Uvim to Vitumim there in 27:2. When saliva comes to a person's mouth, so that he needs to spit and he is in the middle of reciting a blessing or his prayers or the like, he should first spit and then say the name of Hashem, but he should not say the name of Hashem and then spit. Likewise, when he is kissing a sefer, he should spit before kissing the sefer, not afterward. When a person is not praying or studying and wants to mention the name of Hashem, he should say the word Hashem, and he should not say, as the masses tend to err and say, Ad Hashem. For that it not a respectful way. For that, I think that's a typo there. For that is not a respectful way to refer to Hashem. Okay, so we're up to say 4. One must take care not to recite Elohim forbid a blessing in vain, or to cause himself to recite an unnecessary blessing. If one erred and recited a blessing in vain, and likewise if in some other way he came to err and said the name of Hashem in vain, he should say immediately after saying the name of Hashem, Baruch Shem Kevod Melkutu Le'olam Vayed, which means blessed be the name of his glorious kingdom for all eternity. If immediately after reciting the word Baruch Atah, the name of Hashem at the beginning of the blessing, he realizes that he does not have to recite that particular blessing, he should conclude his sentence with the words Lamdini Kukeka. Lamdini Kukeka. Since they, the words Baruch Atah Hashem, blessed are you Hashem, together the words Lamdini Kuka, teach me your statutes, are a complete verse according to Tehillim 119:12. So it's a way of diverting oneself from committing an error, and in fact actually quoting a verse from Tehillim 119:12. And this is how serious the Orthodox world take this stuff. And so looking at it from a messianic perspective, as you might be looking at it you just see, wow, these guys are serious about this stuff. These guys take this stuff seriously, and you might say, but we seem so far away from that, and it's true, we are. And while you might have one person that's on the truth with whom an acknowledgement of a person's identity is, you're still so far away from the truth, in that what that identity has asked us to do, which is not so much different from the Orthodox Jew, which is to keep the commands, you still find that we still need a lot of work. We still need to do a lot of things. You know, a person may have the correct identity, they may have the correct man, but if they're not doing what that man asked them to do, are they any better off than people who don't recognize who that identity is, but are doing what he said to do anyway? If you can understand my meaning there. It's an interesting point. Anyway, so there's a way of shoulder rolling out of the error. Okay, if while reciting the blessing he also begun to recite the word Eloheinu, and then he realizes that the blessing is unnecessary immediately after saying Elokoi of the word Elokeinu, he had not completed the word with the syllable nu, he should conclude the sentence by saying Yisrael Avinu Ma Olam Va'ed Olam. Since these words added to the words Baruch Atah Hashem Elochoi are also the words of the verse in 1 Divrei Hayomim, that is chapter 29 verse 10. However, although he has corrected his error, he should nevertheless say in this case as well, Baruch Shem Kavod Melkuto Le'olam Vayed, according to Zak to brachot 39, to tractate brachot 39. Save 5, one who recited the blessing upon drinking water, and then before he drank, heard that there is a corpse in the vicinity, and the custom is to spill out the water in the vicinity of the dead, due to the danger associated with drinking the water. Nevertheless, since he already recited the blessing, he should drink a little of the water, so that this blessing should not be in vain. In this case, he should not worry about the danger. To one who obeys the commandments will know no evil, according to Kohelet 8:5, that's Ecclesiastes. And after he's drunk a little of the water, he should spill out the rest of the water. So it's not that the person will be physically contaminated by drinking water in the vicinity of a corpse, but it's talking about a spiritual contamination that potentially could come upon a person. And so rather than saying the brachot and refraining from drinking the water completely, it's permissible to drink some of the water and spill the rest out, or get rid of the rest of the water if it's in the vicinity of a dead person, a dead body. Save 6, regarding all blessings, except those of the brachot hamazon, grace after meals, which will be discussed in Siman 44:11. If one was unsure whether he recited them or not, he does not go back and recite them. Because we're very conscious, we should be very conscious of not reciting. You recite a blessing wrong and then recite a blessing correctly. And this is something that I've struggled with in the past. I realized I've said the brachot wrong and I've gone to say the correct brachot. Save 7. A person is obligated to bless Hashem each day with at least 100 blessings. King David instituted this practice. The footnote says, at one point in King David's lifetime, 100 Jews were dying every day. For an unknown reason, King David instituted this practice and the deaths ceased, according to Aruch 46 and Mishnah Berurah 46:14. A scriptural allusion to this practice is also found in the Torah, in the verse in Devarim 10:12. And now Israel, what does Hashem your Elohim ask of you, but to fear Hashem, etc., and to love Him, and do not pronounce the word ma, as in what, because the Hebrew word for what is ma. That's why you hear some Hebrews say ma means what, or pardon. Don't pronounce it as ma, but pronounce it as me'ah, which then means in Hebrew 100. This 100 refers to the 100 blessings that bring one to fear Hashem and to love Him, and to remember Him constantly through the blessings that we recite. Furthermore, there are 98 curses set forth in the section of the admonition in Mishnah Torah Sefer Devarim, which is the last book of the 5 books of the Torah. In addition to these curses, it is written in Devarim 10:61, and also any illness and any blow that is not written in the book of Hashem, in this book, Hashem will bring upon you. Any illness and any blow adds an additional 2 curses upon the 98 that are written, thus bringing the total to 100. The 100 blessings that we recite each day shield us and protect us from these 100 curses. So in actual fact, we read that there's 98 curses, but there is actually more than that. There's a total of 100 curses. There's something else that I came across as well. Anyway, let's keep going. On Shabbat and on festival days, as well as on fast days, when many of the regular 100 blessings recited on regular days are missing, the requisite number of 100 blessings is reached by concentrating on the blessings of the Chazan during repetition of the Shemona Esrei, that is the standing Amidah prayer, and to the blessings of those called up to the Torah, and to the Haftorah blessings recited after the Maftir, and answering Amen to those blessings. And in this way, the listeners are considered to have recited these blessings as well. In addition, one should make up the missing blessings on Shabbos and festivals with recitation of blessings of enjoyment upon food and drink, or upon fragrances on fast days. And also that would include if a person needs to relieve themselves and go to the toilet, and then they say the brachot in those situations as well. Obviously, if you go to the toilet more than once in the day, there's more than one extra blessing that's added to add to your 100 blessings. And so you might be listening to this and go, wow, that's too full on for me. This is too much. Just learn it, study it, and regard it, and may that instill in you the level of reverence that the truly pious people have for Hashem, and have admiration for them. Don't sit there and just sit and go, oh no, this is all too much, this is crazy stuff. I got to count 100 blessings. I can't do that. Hey, I'm not saying that I can do that either, but we read and we study this and we just go, wow, that's huge. That's serious. That's people that are serious about their relationship with Hashem on a daily, moment-to-moment basis, and they leave no stone or rock unturned. And I find it fascinating, and I hope you do too. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll leave it there. We'll, Hashem willing, we'll resume at Seif 8 of Siman 6. And thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day, and bye for now.